This is On the Money News with syndicated financial columnist Steve Savant.
The Small Business Administration has defined small business as companies with 500 employees or less. From working out of their homes to leasing corporate space, the entrepreneurial spirit of small business has become the economic engine of the nation. It is estimated that there are over 28 million small businesses in the United States, responsible for half the country's employment and over 65% of new job creation. Every month, 543,000 new startups are launched, but the figures are even higher for those who close their doors. With me today to talk about small business in America is business owner and entrepreneur, Caine Nakata. Well, welcome to On the Money Show. Caine, I'm talking about small business in America. And the first shocker that I read when I was reading the SBA administration was that most small businesses don't have a succession plan. That shocked me.
Correct. If we look at corporate America, or if we look at small businesses in America, there's only about 10% of them that actually have a written succession plan. And then maybe about another 30% or so who has actually discussed it or talked about it without a written plan. But the unfortunate part is more than 50% of small businesses, which is the lifeblood of America, have no plan at all.
When you started your business, you've been in business for how long?
We've been in business now for 5 years.
And when you started your business, did you already go to a plan immediately, or did you just come into this succession planning recently?
Well, actually what we did is when we initially started the plan, we were like most businesses, where we never thought about the back end. Mm-hmm. But quickly within the first couple of years, we realized that the succession or the planning of it was so important to be able to sustain beyond just my time.
Mm-hmm. There are several different options when you're creating a business succession plan. Give me some of the ones that you think are most popular.
Well, you know, when we talk to our business owners, we get a lot of funny responses. We get responses like, well, I'll sell my business when it's time to retire. Or we might get one like, well, the business will continue and they'll keep paying me even though I'm not working. Mm-hmm. But for most of them, you know, they don't think about it until somebody comes in the door and actually begins to talk to them about it.
So they haven't even done an evaluation or tried to price tag their business at all?
Not at all.
Well, that's shocking to me because there's so many different ways of whether you're looking at a buy-sell agreement, a cross-purchase, stock redemption, or wait-and-see trust. Those are ways to implement strategies for succession, but we're not even evaluating our business yet. So does that surprise you? You meet with so many businesses every day that are looking at their succession. A lot of them are baby boomers.
Correct. And the funny part is most of them have never gotten an evaluation or never given it thought. And the unfortunate part there is many business owners believe the value of their business is a lot more than it actually is. Mm. So as they move forward, they have this figure that's in their mind that probably will never really come about.
Well, when I'm looking at business succession planning, I always think that's if we live to actually execute the plan. Oh. But I've noticed that when you're talking about business succession planning, you introduce what happens if the partner or the person you're buying it from actually dies before the succession plan begins, or they become disabled.
Correct. Normally when we're talking about succession planning or exit strategies, we always say there's 4 ways to exit. You're either going to die, get disabled, retire, or sell off your business. Our hope is that we're utilizing death the least. Mm-hmm. But no matter what business owners need to understand is in the event that something does happen to them, it doesn't just affect their family, but it affects the families of everyone they also employ.
Have you seen in your experience that most business owners are actually looking at the sale of their business as their retirement plan?
Absolutely. And the unfortunate part about that, going back to what I stated earlier, is they have an imaginary figure that usually is way off track.
Too much.
Too much, absolutely. And that's why it's so important they go back, get a valuation of their business so they can move forward and start creating a plan. Now, the beauty of creating a plan early versus late, a lot of times they can create a plan that'll financially sustain themselves as well as their family when nearing or in retirement itself.
Now, I've noticed that many small businesses who are depending on the sale of their business to actually be their retirement plan have no 401k, have no Roth IRAs, have no retirement money set aside for that. They're depending solely on the business. I know that you introduce retirement planning on top of business succession planning to avoid this kind of thinking.
Correct. The unfortunate part is they state that 53% of business owners don't have a retirement plan simply because they're concerned with their future income, right? Businesses go up and down, and if you implement a plan and they can't fund it, it can become a disaster for them. So what we do is we introduce plans that have two folds. One is a benefit for the business owner that will assist them in retirement, but as well as them having access to it as they're running their business.
Well, for more information on business succession planning, just go to onthemoneynews.com and fill out the request form right on the homepage.
You've been watching On the Money News with syndicated financial columnist Steve Savant.